Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60ANDME. Topic today is downsizing. I know we've written about it before, we've talked about it before, but it's, for me, such an important part of making a transition into your 60s and 70s. And one of our bloggers, Sarah Hart, wrote this article that gave it a lens for me that I thought was a new perspective, and it was great to share. And I want to share with you my personal story with downsizing too, because I think it's very typical in some ways, maybe less typical in others, but and I'm going to share with you my own story too. Now it's very bright today, so hopefully the sun isn't going to glare me out of here so you can see. But anyway, the point that she makes to start her article is to say, look, when she said to a friend that she was going to be starting to downsize, the person said, "What, are you preparing to die?" She says, "No, I'm preparing to live." That's the whole point of it. And I think that distinction is so, so cool. And, I live in a single room. And I've done a little tour of my room before that it's available on YouTube. But, you can see why I have a necessity to downsize, because I just don't have a lot of room. And sometimes that's the route that people take. They move into a smaller house. You've got a big house that you just don't want to take care of anymore. So you downsize into an apartment or and even into a studio like I did. And, so that whole downsizing process is not to be seen in a negative lens, like, you're getting ready to say goodbye to everybody. But no, I'm getting ready to say hello to myself and to start living. And the point that Sarah makes, however, which I want to share in this discussion, is it's not always easy. That's an understatement. I mean, if you ever in a million years try to take all the pictures that you've taken over the years and choose your top 100, I mean, that would be almost an impossible job to do. I have 2,000 pictures on my phone. I just couldn't do it. But my phone is one thing, and I can manage that small footprint, so it's all good. But the point here is that if you've got life product, you've got things that you bought over your lifetime, through children, perhaps through family gifts that have been given to you, you maybe have accumulated a lot of stuff. And so letting it go is hard. And I will share my own story with you because I went through it, and it was about, well, in fact, this is one other point to make, is that downsizing is not an event. It's not something that you do today and that's it, and that's a one-time deal. It's a lifestyle. It's an absolute lifestyle of consuming less being a bit of an anti-consumer, but at the same time, treasuring small things that represent the important things in your life. And I'm not saying throw everything away at all. I'm just saying think about carefully the memory behind the thing, the reason that you treasure it so much, and treasure that more than the item itself. But anyway, it's often hard, it's exhausting, it's painful sometimes. When I started my journey 10 years ago, it was, well, longer than that now, actually. I had actually been living in New York City for a few months on a project that I was doing with Microsoft at the time. And I ended up taking all my worldly possessions from where I was living in Seattle and sending them to New York. And there were 39 boxes, and I got them there. And then I was there for 3 months, and things changed. And I won't mention how it changed or whatever, but it was just a change with my boss, and she decided to do something else with her life, and I was left there without someone to work for and work with. And so I came back to Seattle, went back to Seattle, and one day the 39 boxes appeared, and it was like, 39 boxes. Where did they come from? I was in a place for 3 months. I honestly did not miss a single thing. I couldn't even remember what was in the boxes. Now, I had labeled them, of course, but, I just really could honestly not say there was one thing that I really missed while I was living for 3 months in a strange place. So it changed my mindset completely about possessions, and I started to open them one at a time. And I had my printer and my for scanning, and I scanned all my paperwork. I had pictures from my kids' kindergarten classes. I had, school projects. I had the projects on electricity and the solar system. And, well, first of all, I did call my sons and say, hey, guys, if you want any of this in paper, just let me know, because I'll send them to you. But I'm going to scan everything, and that's the end of this, of 5 boxes. And I did that, and it took about a year. It took about a year to scan everything in those boxes and to go through the emotional release. And that's what I want to talk about most, is that it wasn't like I just picked up the picture and like, oh, that's a Mother's Day card that my 3-year-old made for me, and I'll just scan it. And it was like, no, that's something really important. And I read it, and I cried, and I remembered, and I I dealt with things, and I let go some of the grief and some of the sadness associated with my own childhood. With it goes on and on, right? So it was a very freeing feeling, however, to get through that. And I, went through all the other boxes, and I've written about this. I have a website called Learn to Simplify that I started it just for myself and for my own my own purposes, just to express some of the challenges of downsizing, learntosimplify.com. And there I tell the story about opening the box with my little dog Chica's remains, a little urn that I had for her, and and all the little toys she used to play with, the little monkey, little clothes. I used to put on her little coat. She was a Chihuahua. And, I just honestly just fell apart. And you can imagine, anyone has a pet, when you lose them, it's just like, of course I had gone through that such grieving when I lost little Chica, but when I opened the box and found her urn, I ended up keeping just a little diamante necklace, little pink necklace that she had, and I just kept that, and I still have it, and everything else went away, and it was okay. But that's just my story, and I know that if you try to do downsizing, you'll understand. It was the pictures, it was the mementos, it was the gifts. I found some gifts that my ex-husband had given me, and I kept one thing, and I've got that one thing in a place that I keep it, and it's a reminder of all the goodness in our relationship, and how that was given to me, the situation, the decisions we made, and it was good. So it can be good, it can be freeing, it can be liberating, and it can be overwhelming. And so if you're doing this and you want some company, just come along, because, Sarah tells her own story, and she just realized when she went into the garage, and haven't we all been in the garage? Not that I have one today, and you just see the stacks of things, the sports equipment, if you've got kids, the food, the extra food that you saved for a rainy day that expired 10 years ago, and all that stuff. You don't need more rooms. You don't need more closets. You just need clarity in what's really important. And sometimes it's just one picture that can capture it all. And I think that's good. I think that's a good thing. If you found this too, what is your technique for downsizing? Maybe you don't do it. Maybe you don't feel any desire, but I certainly do. So what does Sarah learn? She buys less. I buy less. She cares more for what she buys. She doesn't have room for anything at home, so she has to buy for the passions, so the hobbies, the things that she loves to do. And I actually do. I'm not surrounded by them at the moment, but I could show you some of the very affordable hobbies that I do. I think my removable wallpaper game, and also lots of knitting and jewelry making and stuff. I love all of that, and I don't stop spending money on those. But I don't make 10 necklaces anymore. I used to do that. I just buy, choose a color. I choose something that I really like, and for me, actually, downsizing was a liberating thing in another way, which enabled me to travel, because I didn't have to worry about a big house or about taking care of anything. And of course, little Chica wasn't with me anymore, so I could actually get out there and just travel. And sometimes I do very simple things, and that's the thing about downsizing, is when you know where everything is. I have a thermos where I go and get my cup of tea and I fill it up and go down to the lake or go for a walk. My fridge is very small. I live in a tiny place, so I only have exactly what I like, exactly what I need. And when I want to go traveling, I have maybe a couple of plants that I take over to my son's, and he will look after them, but I don't have that kind of weight around my shoulders, that weight that I have to look after everything. It's just I've got less. I know where the scissors are. I know where my mirrors are. I just know where stuff is, and that's really, really liberating for me. So everything is in its place. Everything is what I want. Everything is how I want it. And that may sound a little selfish and a little bit self-absorbed, but hey, I've been gathering things, buying gifts, getting things for people all my life. They're doing fine. It's their turn now to decide how they want to live their life with or without those extra things. And of course, my grandkids are the one little group that get extra help from me, because I just, if they want something that's really precious to them, I know how fun it can be to have a new thing. And it's not the only thing, but it's a phase. It's a lifestyle. So how are you doing? Are you downsizing? Have you made the decision to live rather than say goodbye to things, to see it as a way to live a new life, do more with less? I hope so. And if you have, put your notes below. And I know we've talked about this before, so if it's like, ho-hum, Margaret, we're doing this already. For those of you who aren't doing it, this is for you then, okay? So take good care, everybody. Have a really fabulous day wherever you are in this beautiful world. Simplify your life in any way that you feel is important and appropriate. And we're here by your side. Take good care, everybody. Have a lovely day. Love you all. Bye-bye.